Okay, Unit 2 review, take 2. Identify the domain and range, then determine whether the relation is a function. Okay, so remember x, y, the x's are your domains. So x, we got 10, negative 10, 6, 5, negative 6. They're all different, so I know it's a function right now. Okay. Now the range, you need to go through listing it, but it doesn't matter if there's repeats in the range. That is obsolete, meaning irrelevant. There you have it. Okay. Okay, domain 4, 1, 3, 4, and 10. So I have repeats in the domain, then it can't be a function. And then 5, 5, 8, 6, 12. Okay, next page we're going to skip for anybody who's interested. Find the value of f of 3 means you just substitute 3 in for x. Negative 2 times 3 minus 5, it'd be negative 11. Okay, for those of you interested in this, you put negative 2 in for x. Negative 4 times negative 2 is 8. 8 plus 6 is 14. The absolute value of 14 is 14. Then you'd multiply the result by 4 in the end. It'd be 56, but don't worry about that. Okay, write equations of the line with the following traits. All 4 of these problems, we need to apply the y equals blank x plus blank rule, b. Now you have to find the values that go there. Okay, m's easy. It's 1/3. That's your slope, remember. Then b is the y-intercept. It's where it crosses the y-axis. It's not given to me. Negative 3 is not your y-intercept, because on a graph you go forward 9, down 3. That's not on the y-axis. Okay, so y equals m times x plus b. So m is 1/3. Okay, and then negative 3 replaces y, 9 replaces x. b plus 1/3 times 9 is 3. Then you take out your plus 3 with a minus 3. And negative 6 equals b. Okay, there's your equation. Okay, because if you take 1/3 times 9 and add negative 6, you get negative 3. Okay, through 3, negative 2, and 6, 1. Okay, y equals blank x plus blank, mb. M is the slope. B is the y-intercept. Okay, so m, we apply y minus y, x minus x. I like to start with my higher x, 6. I'll go 6 minus 3, and then above it we'll go 1 minus negative 2. So that's 3 over 3, which is 1. Okay, simplifies to 1. So 1's my m. Then b is y equals m times x plus b. Okay, so my m is 1. Okay, 1 is y, 6 is x. So b plus 6 minus 6 minus 6. 1 minus 6 is negative 5. Okay. Okay, parallel to the equation y equals 5x minus 2 through 2, negative 1. Okay, so y equals blank x plus blank, so mb. So m and b, remember m's the slope, b is the y-intercept. Now remember the word parallel, that means they have the same m. So what's the m on this equation? Well, if your y is by itself, you have it, because it's mx and b. You don't care about the b, though. You just care about the m when writing a parallel equation. So m is 5. And then b, y equals m times x plus b. M is 5, and then negative 1 is y, 2 is x. b plus 5 times 2 is 10. Okay, then you minus your 10 on both sides, and you produces an outcome of negative 11 for b. Okay, there you have it. Okay, now you're right, perpendicular to y equals negative 3x plus 7 through 3, 5. So perpendicular means we flip the m, reciprocate it, is math terminology for that. And also you got to make it into its opposite sign. Okay, so y equals blank x plus blank m b. M's the slope, B's the y-intercept. So M and B, you don't need the B. Now how do you flip a whole number? Well, you put a 1 under it and flip it. It'd flip to 1/3. If that's a negative, then ours needs to produce a positive. If that's a positive, we need to produce a negative. Okay. Another rule, the slopes of perpendicular lines, the m's always need to multiply to -1. And then b, y equals m times x plus b. So m is 1/3. Okay. Then 5 is y, and then 3 is x. b plus 1/3 times 3 is 1, minus 1, minus 1, we get 4. Okay, next 2 pages, all you need to do is just put in a little bit of time to look them over. Y varies directly with x. Varies directly means it's proportional, okay? That means you're going to set up a cross multiply and divide ratios, okay? Y equals 5/3 when x equals 3/4. So we find the x value if y has a value of 1/2. So I like to put my y on top. So the given ratio is 5/3 to 3/4. Okay, now if y has a value of 1/2, I need to find the value of x. You can just cross multiply and divide. 3/4 times 1/2 divided by 3/4 is 1/2. Wait a second, that doesn't make any sense. 3/4 times 1/2 divided by 5/3, that's more like it. 9/40. Okay. Okay, same thing. Just a cookie cutter problem compared to the last one. Y, x, y, x. Okay. So y is -7 when x is -3. So if x has a value of 9, what's our y value? Okay. So -7 times 9 divided by -3 is 21. So y would have a value of positive 21. Okay, find the x and y intercepts of the following equations. Guys, you're not trying to get the y by itself. That's how you find the slope and y-intercept. I'm not. I'm finding the x and y-intercepts. So x int, y int, and you need to set those up into coordinates. Okay. Now duplicate the equation. Just make a carbon copy of it. Okay. Now, I have it in both places. So x-intercept, we're solving for x by setting the y at 0, okay? 7 times 0 is 0, divide by -2. 28 divided by -2 is -14. So in that equation, back 14, and then on the line, that's on the x-axis. The y-intercept, now you're solving for y, set the x at 0. -2 times 0 is 0. Now divide by 7 and you get 4. So 0, 4, so I'd stay in the middle and go up 4. That's on the y-axis, hence it's the y-intercept. Okay. Now if you had to get slope y-intercept, you'd be getting the y by itself, but you don't. Okay, next one, make a duplicate copy. So no, you're not trying to get the y by itself to find the x-intercept and the y-intercept. Okay, so the x-intercept, you're solving for x, you set the y at 0. Okay, so So 2 times 0 is 0. So divide by 5. And negative 20 divided by 5 is negative 4. Again, back 4, you'd be on the x-axis. Y-intercept, we solve for y by setting the x to 0. Okay, so you just replace your x with 0 now. 5 times 0 is 0. 2 times y equals negative 20, so you divide by 2, you get negative 10. Okay, next page is blank. Now we're to graphing. It's not just an equation, it's an inequality. So you are going to have to do a test after your line is made. Now, some of you are like, how do you know that's a line? Well, because your x doesn't have a function, it's just an x. It's not an absolute value, it's not to the second power, it's just x to the first power. So that's how you know it's linear, it's a line. So with these, if you have y and you have x, make sure the y is by itself. And if it is, you got your m and your b. So you use slope y-intercept to graph it, okay? So slope, negative 2, you'd put a 1 under it, and then plus 1, okay? Not because you have a 1 here, but because you make a whole number into a ratio by putting a 1 under it. So you go 1, then you go down 2, forward 1, rise over run. Okay, we don't have our equals to lines, so I make a dash line through there. And then you pick any point, anywhere, doesn't matter where. I'll pick this one, okay? So that's 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, because again, you're at 1, 2 on the x, and then remember that's the x, this is the y. Okay, so take out your y, put 4. Negative 2x, so it's negative 2, and we're going to replace the x with 2 plus 1. So we times to get negative 4. Negative 4 plus 1 is negative 3. Well, that's true. It eats a bigger number. Okay, so true on that side, false on the other. Okay. That's me highlighting it. Okay, number 14, 2x minus 5y greater than or equal to negative 20. Okay, so we have the x and the y in this equation, okay? But the y is not by itself. So we have to get the y by itself. We do have to run our tests later. So I marked the y multiplication number. It's a negative, so do the opposite. So negative, positive, flip the inequality to less than or equal, positive 20. Okay, because you want that to be positive, because that's later going to become the run on the slope. So I circle the 5 times y. So we add 2x and make a 0x and add 2x there. Okay, so line up your less than or equal to sign. You have 5 times y, and then you got to do the x first. 0 plus 2 is 2. And then plus 20, because it's mx and b, not bmx. So divide by 5, and if you produce a decimal, you're going to leave it as a fraction, which 2 divided by 5 is a decimal, so it's 2/5 x, that's m, 20 divided by 5 is 4. So again, y by itself, you have the m and b, mx, b. Y not by itself, this is what needs to be done. Okay, and we need that positive. If it's not, you produce the opposite effect to the equation. Okay, so the slope is 2/5, and the y-intercept is plus 4. Okay, so on the y-axis, there's 4. Then you go up 2, forward 5. Do it again, but you run out of room. Okay. Now the line is there in the inequality, okay, so we graph a solid line. Okay, now pick a point, any point. Let's go right there. Let's go, that point I picked is 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. So it's 3, 3 is the coordinate, okay. Remember, x is the sideways, y is up and down. Okay, so 3 replaces y, and then we're going to replace x with 3, okay? Okay, so 2/5 times 3. Going to probably be a sloppy number. 1 1/5. Plus 4 is 5 1/5. That's a true. Okay, so that's true. That's false. We highlight the true side. Okay, number 15. Well, we're not going to use slope because we're missing one of the variables. I'm going to put here the variable I'm missing. I'm missing x. So we're going to make 3 coordinates. What's the letter I'm not missing? It's y. So y is going to be constantly at -3. And then what we're missing, you pick anything. Keep it simple. Let's go 1, 2, 3. And then you just plot the coordinate points. So x is 1, so 1 on x is there. -3 on y. 1, 2, 3 would be right there. Okay. 2 on x is there. -3 on y is there. Okay. 3 on x. -3 on y. Okay. It's a straight horizontal line, but it needs to be dashed because it's not equals. Okay. I messed it up, so I'm just going to continue it correctly. Okay, pick a point, any point. It doesn't matter where, we'll pick that one. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 on x, 1, 2, 3 on y. Okay, so that point I'm picking is 4, 3. X always comes first. But all you need to do is put 3 in for y. That's true. 3 is greater than -3. Eats a bigger number, so that's true. The other side's false. Okay. Okay, now this is going to be a V. Okay, you need to do the shading. That's your V. Okay, so we need a vertex point, and we need a stretch. That's 2 things you need to have when you have an absolute value function. Okay, vertex and a stretch. Okay, let's label this A, H, K. Now I'm going to put over here, it's on that paper. A is the stretch. Okay, so stretch is -3/2. Now what's the vertex? Now the H, what do you do with the H? How does that affect the vertex? Well, it produces the opposite effect to x. What does opposite effect mean? Well, it means if that's a -4, our x is +4. Okay? Alright, then K produces the same, not the opposite effect to the y. Okay? So 7. Okay, easy enough. Vertex 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then from there you go down and forward, but then you have to go down and backwards. That's what a stretch does. It's down, forward, down, backwards. Okay. And then it's a solid full V. Okay. Now, I know it's upside down, but above the vertex is greater than, below is less than. Since we have greater than, we shade the part that's above, okay? And then all that other side, that side of the V, okay? You don't need to do a test on the V. Okay, 17. This would be easy to solve without, but I'll set up the equation. The temperature at sunrise is 65 degrees. Each hour the temperature rises 5 degrees. Write an equation in slope-intercept form that models the temperature during the day. How many hours will it take the temperature to reach 90 degrees? So you have degrees and hours. X is hours, Y is degrees. So per degrees per hour, the degrees per hour is 5, +5 today because it rises. So if I got the rate of change, I go X, Y. Degrees is Y, hours is X. So we have that, so let's go from 0 to 1 to 2 before I block it off. 65 is your y-intercept, and then the slope is 5, so you just add 5, 70, 75. Then below that, you put 90 degrees with a question mark. Okay, now let's go find what goes there. So to know the equation, you might want to make your line. So you have 65, and I'm adding 5 every time, 5 times x. So the equation is 65 plus 5 times x equals y. Y equals 90. Okay, then take out your 65, so that's 25. Then just divide by 5 on both sides and you get 5. Okay, so 5 hours, and that's the answer to the problem. Okay, number 18. A hot air balloon descends in a linear path. That means it's at a high point, it goes down. Now after 10 seconds of descending, the balloon's 640 meters above the ground. After 30 seconds, it is 590 meters above the ground. How many seconds will it take the balloon to descend from its initial altitude to the ground? Meaning 0 meters, not feet. Okay. So you got seconds and meters. Okay. X is seconds, Y is meters, so the rate would be meters per second, which we don't know, so we put a question mark. So when I make my table, I can't go to 0, 1, 2 without the slope. So I go 0, block it, and then I pair these into coordinates. So 10 seconds goes with 640 meters. 30 seconds goes with 590 meters, and our job is to find when we're at 0 meters. Okay. Now clearly that would start somewhere, we just don't know where, so I put B. Okay. So that means when you make your line, okay, you're going to put a B at the beginning from there. Well, to find B, you got to have a meters per second. Okay. Because remember, y equals mx plus b, the m's are meters per second. So we come back over here and apply y minus y, x minus x. That's how slope applies to real life. So start with your higher x. We're going to go 30 minus 10 on bottom, and then 590 minus 640 above it. So you're going to get negative 50 over 20, and it divides into a decimal, and that's fine, negative 2.5 times x. Okay. All right, so after b, we're adding, what that has told us is that we're adding negative 2.5 times x, and that's also the m value. So when I go to apply y equals m times x plus b, my m value is right there. It's negative 2.5. Okay. Then x and y. So x is, we'll pick 10 and 640. You could also pick 30 and the 590. So negative 2.5 times 10, that'd be negative 25. So b plus negative 25 or minus 25. But you add 25 to get rid of it. So 665 equals b. So that's not the answer to the problem though. Okay, you got your b, but that wasn't what you were being asked. Okay, you got to find this. Okay, 665 is your b amount, but it does help because now I can write the equation. So 665 plus negative 2.5 times x equals y. Substitute 0 for y and solve it. Minus 665, minus 665, negative 2.5 times x equals negative 266, or excuse me, negative 665. And then I divide each side by negative 2.5. And that produces an outcome of 266. So it'll be 266 seconds, which is 4 minutes, 36 seconds if you want to get particular. Okay, then number 18. The data below follow a linear model. Make a scatter plot for the data. I screwed this up. It should be 0, 1, 2, 3, not 1 to 4. Okay, so X is years, Y is price. So years is my X, so we go 0 to 3. So this isn't going to take too long. Now on the Y-axis, we want to be smart. 530 is the lowest, so let's start at a round thing before that, 5.20, and then we're going to add 10 cents every time we go up, increments of 10 cents, 5.30, 5.40, 5.50, 5.60, 5.70, 5.80, 5.90, $6, 6.10. Stop at that. So 0, 530, okay? 1, 557, 2, 582, and then 3, 605. Okay, so it's pretty close to a straight line, pretty darn close, okay? So I can actually put position, always position on the first point, okay? Of course that would go on. It wouldn't go on this way because that's why it's just a graph there. Now write an equation. Now before we do that, let's make a little table that has less values, okay? So X is years and Y is price. You want to put the 0, 5.30 because that's your B. That'll be less work to find the B in the equation. Then I pick 2 points. I'll go with 1 and 3. So I'm going to put 1 with $5.57 and then put 3 with $6.05. Now you can write a Y equals mx plus b equation. So m, let's apply y minus y, x minus x. Don't use the 0, let's go 3 minus 1. And then 605 minus 5.57. Okay, so when I subtract that, that's going to be 48 cents. And then 3 minus 1 is 2, divide it, it's 0.24. So it goes up by roughly 24 cents a year, and we don't need to do y equals mx plus b, we have b, it's 5.30, okay? That's your equation, okay? That's all you do. Okay, now I'm going to do some more Unit 3 review. You should know this. Solve the equation by substitution. So you're finding where they cross, but without the graph. Substitution means you find a letter that's by itself, not there. There I have y by itself. That's my base variable. Okay, then I write the other equation, 2x plus 2y equals 38. Now, replace your base variable with the expression x plus 3. Now write that out, okay? So 2x plus 2, parentheses, and then the quantity we put x plus 3 equals 38. Now we solve for x, okay? So I distribute. So plus, you're going to have 2x and 6, and then you add 2x from the front. So we combine the x's into 4x plus 6 equals 38. Get your non-x's to the opposite side. So 4x would equal 32. Then divide by 4, we get 8. So x is 8. Now to solve for y, you want to use the one where the y is by itself. Y equals x plus 8. Or x plus 3, excuse me. Take out the x, put 8. So y equals 8 plus 3, and y equals 11. 8, 11. My camera's about to die. I'm going to switch